Hi, we're back. We have another very interesting guest, and her name is Tracy Carrera, and she's got some interesting things to tell us this morning. Hi, Tracy.
Good morning, Carol. I got to say, you are so lovely. I would love to do a portrait of you.
Oh my
if you
gosh!
could model for me. Oh, beautiful. Oh my God.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay, great. I love it. Love your hair. I love everything. Oh, yes. Everything's a painting to me. So.
Well, good. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what kind of art are you into?
You know what? I'm a sensualist. Some of my favorite painters, John Singer Sargent, he was considered a sensualist. So my paintings have to do with things that bring us pleasure. Listening to symphonic music, I paint musicians, dancers, chefs, food, wine, cigars. Sometimes it's slightly naughty, someone eating, like a woman drinking wine in the bathtub with bubbles, tastefully done. But to me, life is so beautiful, and I want to emanate that in my work. My work is considered kind of impressionistic, figurative, so representational meaning realistic, but very juicy. Not hyper-realism, but impressionistic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Juicy is a nice way to say you know what.
Full of life. Yeah.
So I know from my little paper here that you teach at Reedley College.
I do. I'm very lucky. This is going on my second year teaching there.
Oh, very exciting.
Oh, I love it. We have such a great college. The president's great. My colleague David Hicks, who teaches ceramics. I mean, it's just so wonderful.
Ceramics.
Oh my gosh, me too. And he's so talented and passionate. And it's just wonderful that we get to do. I mean, this is my dream job. Being an artist is my dream job, and I get to do that too.
Oh my gosh.
Plus, I get to help these young artists find their own little, what they want to do in life, and give them the tools they need to be successful out in the industry if they want to go on to professional
I think that is fabulous.
Yeah, I do too.
It's so important, especially like I was saying before, I like when people leave here, I want them feeling good. And when they leave their school day in a class, they're feeling good.
Right. They want to feel like they've gotten something special. And it's not always something that I say. Sometimes it's a mistake or something that a fellow student learns, but you have to show up and be there to witness those moments and go, oh wow, I'm going to try that, or wow, that didn't work out. So there really is no failure. It's just constantly learning. Yeah, I love it. It's a win-win for everybody. I love it.
It is. I had a hard time when I was younger because I thought success was the most fantastic. You had to be successful no matter what. If it killed you, you had to be successful. And stay away from failure. But I finally failed at something. I set myself up for it really, and I failed at it. And gee, I'm still alive.
Right?
I survived.
That's such a wonderful thing you said, because in class, I mean, and I could tell you're an artist too. You were speaking about that earlier. For us, we create so much. It's fun for us, but we have to remember, and I always have to be cognizant of this with my students, that it's terrifying when you put something on a blank piece of paper, you try your best, and you put it up there for critique. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. You feel almost naked in a way, and especially if it's a topic that maybe it's kind of personal, as opposed to just a landscape or, something like that that's a little more objective. So I tell my students, you know what? There has to be risk-taking in art, or else you will not grow. And I guess you could say that for life in general. Everybody wants to do stuff they're already good at. And I'll tell you what, my students, this will make you laugh, they always come up to me the first day and they go, Professor Carrera, I just want to tell you, I can't draw a stick figure. And I say, fantastic, because we're not going to do any stick figures in this class. You're good. And I tell them, I try to make it lighthearted, and I tell them, you know what? I'm on your team. If you fail, that means I failed you as a teacher. So all I ask is that you come to class, be open-minded, trust me, and just try your best. And it really works out. They get a lot out of it. There's a give and take. It's a collaboration, teaching for sure, and learning. You got to have open communication. You have to be nurturing. I don't lie to my students. I'm not their mother. I'm not going to tell them this is great if it's not. I say, well, this is a start, and here's some things I like about your drawing, but your perspective is off, your anatomy's off, whatever. And this is really crucial for what most of my students want to go into now, which is the entertainment industry, which is video game design, CGI stuff. Not too many students want to do the old school kind of, have a painting studio and sell fine art. It's all entertainment art industry
good
stuff.
for them,
right?
because that's where the money is.
That's what I'm saying. I know. And so I do my best to give them the basics, the classical training they need, and the inspiration. And matter of fact, that's our theme for Reedley College. We motivate and inspire. Because if you're not inspired, that doesn't matter how good of an artist I am. If I can't communicate to the student that I believe in them, that they can do it, that they may fail, but that's all part of the process. No one successful has never failed. Everybody has. The point is, are you going to get up and try harder, change what you're doing, or are you going to sit in a corner and cry about it? So it's a great learning tool for other areas, computers, physics. I think the art class really. Let's face it, there's some people that are taking the class just for a fun class, and that's great. That general ed, that's great. There's others who want to go into it as a career. So I always have to keep that in mind. It's different than teaching math or physics. It's very
sure.
So you got to be careful. But every student is like a little puzzle. Some are visual learners, some are auditory, and so I get to know them, and that's what I think is a great thing about teaching. And then I kind of figure out how to best communicate to them. And it's an art form in itself, teaching.
It's great challenges for you.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Keeps you on your feet.
That's right. They always do. Every day is a different scenario, but it's fantastic. I love it.
So how did you get started in art?
You know what? I'm an identical twin. I'm 3 minutes older than my twin sister, although she's taller than me. She was better at everything, Carol. She was better. She was on the soccer team, baseball, softball, swim. I got a side ache walking across the room. I couldn't beat her at anything. She was so competitive. We'd play chess, and she'd have to set up the pieces before me. Like, that's how competitive she was. So there was only one thing I could do better than her, and that was draw. And boy, she tried to be better than she could. And so I just went for that. So I credit her with me being an artist, because it was the one thing my dad would go, "Good job. I really like that." And I would just keep doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing like it. I was in a play, my first play, when I was in the second grade. And I was new to the school, and they were going to have a Christmas pageant. So she said, "Okay," she says, "I'm going to give you, there's a couple toys that sit on the shelves," and she says, "You're going to be a top." And you're going to say, "I am a top, Merry Christmas," or something. I didn't have any costume to wear or anything, so this one lady came up with this little green tutu. And oh my God, eyes on that. From that moment on, I was stuffed. I was stunned. Once that first thing hits you as an actress, you're an actress till you're dead.
All right, that's great.
Really,
I love it.
If you're working or not, doesn't matter. You're still an actress.
And what's interesting too is, I bet as an actress, you get to have that experience without being on set. For example, like when I just said to you, I see things as paintings. I look at a sunset and I go, "Oh, I love that painting," whereas everybody else is just going, "Oh, that's a pretty sunset." You start seeing things in a different way, and it really broadens your experience.
Oh, yes,
regardless of what you produce, it's just your state of being really gets, it grows, and it's a beautiful thing. It just makes life vibrant, I think. Life is so extraordinary.
It is. I'm with you on that, because I love life, and everything to me is beautiful.
I know.
And I love it, and I love Fresno. I guess you're supposed to say that, because but I do.
I love it too. It's kind of gritty. It's agricultural. I love it. I absolutely love it. We live in a tower. We live here. Love living here. Fantastic. Yeah, I really love it.
So how did you get that job? Were you living in
I wasn't. I was living in, I've been at I've taught at different places, in Utah, in Cincinnati. I taught at the Art Academy of Cincinnati, and I always wanted to come back to California, though. I miss California. So I applied several positions, and when I got the call from Reedley College, I said, "Yay!" I was so happy.
Gosh.
And then when I got there, and I got to meet all the administrators and just the students, and I mean, it's amazing what I accomplished just last, my first year there, and seeing that I have this rapport with the students already, and my colleagues. It's fantastic. I know. I mean, seriously, it's a dream job. Sometimes I'll be teaching, and we'll be drawing from a student or whatever, and I'll go, wow, and I look around and I go, "Wow, I'm an art professor. Look, here I am.
I'm a prof.
That's right, a professor. I know.
Prof.
Although, let's face it, a lot of people, when they find out I teach art, they go, "Oh, okay, now it makes sense." You know? I'm like, yeah, that's right.
You get away with that with art
Pretty
or acting.
much, that's right.
None of the
yeah,
two.
right. We can be eccentric. It's okay to be eccentric. And I think that's, silly. I think everybody should be where they want to be and not worry about what other people think. And life is too short to worry.
But your personal art now, what are you doing with that? Are you showing it anywhere? or
We just showed, and we participated in the art hop. My husband is also an artist, Robert Keller, and he's a hyper realist artist, and a little bit different, but figurative as well. So we had our work showing at Vena Vita Vici, and I think we're going to have some work at Full Circle Brewery. And I don't have like I have had great galleries in the past in New Mexico and LA and stuff, but right now I really wanted to focus on my teaching. It's a tenure track position, so there's a lot of committees and other work that goes into that, which I love, and that's part of being a professor at a great college. But it does take some time. We moved here from out of state, so just getting to know the area. So I'm calming down. You can only do certain things in a day, and so I think this next coming year, though, I'm really going to kick up my painting. But it's really a good point, though, because really, if you're an artist, you're an art professor, you really need to be involved in the market itself. Showing in galleries, museums, because then that stuff feeds into your students, and it helps them find opportunities.
It's somebody to look up to and say, "Look what she did."
Right,
Can I ever do that?
Yes, you
I
can.
do that.
I'm the first one to say that. Yes, you can. It takes work. Art is a funny thing. Because people do it solely to express themselves, just in a pure expressive way, without regard to a career. So those two things are hard to balance, and it is a competitive industry. So,
tell me about it.
I know. Actually, the same way. Going to what do you call when you go to try to get the part? You read for audition, right? The word escaped me. Yeah, and you got to kind of have tough skin, right, to be critiqued like that and what have you. So same with, I think, with writing or music, anything that involves the humanities. You really have to kind of develop a tough skin and realize it's not personal. It's a commodity like anything else, right? And just because you like flowers, it doesn't mean that that's going to translate and sell your work. It's you got to have something that the other artists don't have, and there's plenty of work for everybody. I think it's just finding your right niche in the market and being realistic about what kind of prices you can command given your experience and education, etc. So, yeah.
My only problem is that I'm an animal artist, and also people portraits and stuff like that. But how many people want to buy a lion to go in their house?
I love that. I would have a painting like that. But like one of my favorite animal artists is Bob Kuhn. He does a lot of wildlife, African, elephants, United States, animals in the United States and stuff. And there's so many great artists in every genre, landscape, floral, etc. And then that doesn't even include mediums. And so it was interesting. Your last guest was talking about how she does acrylic. I just barely started getting into acrylic. Usually my stuff's oil painting forever. I love it. It's rich. It's permanent. It relates to art history, and it has its benefits. But I'm starting to get into acrylic a little bit, so even I grow. It's one thing to be good at one thing, but to go, oh, that's kind of neat. I think I'll try that. It's a good thing because you can always be changing and getting better.
And you have a lot to learn when you try that new medium.
Sure it does.
Because each medium
has its own. Exactly. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a fun thing. I'm really lucky.
The one thing I'm going to work on now, we have a pet squirrel in our yard. Of course, we have a pet rat too, but my husband feeds anything.
Oh, so does mine. Oh.
Anyway, there's one squirrel. I have a picture of him sitting in the tree, and the next I'm going to do a triptych, and the next one is he's on his upside down trying to eat out of the thing.
Oh yeah.
And the last one was the house before that one collapsed, and you just see his two back legs and his tail.
Because he collapsed. I love that. Now that's a narrative right there.
So I think I have fun doing.
Oh, I think that's a winner. I think people buy that. Because we all love. I mean, that's why you love animals. They're wild and they're funny, and it's a beautiful thing. And so your medium is oil. Then is that what you paint with?
No, mainly I just got back to oils. Mainly I'm pastels and china paints, porcelain paints. Have you ever seen that?
I have a little bit, but not much. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, it's a wonderful medium. It's a wonderful medium. I just love it.
All right, I could tell.
It's close to watercolor in that you leave the white, but it's just so easy to start out with one layer, fire it, do another layer, and build it up like that.
Right. Oh, beautiful. That's. I mean, getting to know. I have a good relationship with David Hicks, who teaches ceramics, and our classrooms are right there. So oftentimes I'll have my students. I'll say, "Come on!" If it's a drawing class, I'll say, "Let's go in here and see what they're doing. What kind of lines? It's all line, whether it's on a ceramic piece or sculpture or what have you."
Right.
And so that's a really nice thing that we have this cross blending, and and so students can think about a concept outside of just one medium and say, "Okay, this applies to everything," like contrast, composition, these things. So that's what's so wonderful about it. Yeah, I love it. Fantastic. How long have you been doing the China? What did you call it again?
China painting, porcelain. Yeah. I joined the Fresno Porcelain Artists when I came up with my husband, and that's been about 20 years.
Oh, okay, that's a while.
So I've been doing that for about 20 years.
Oh, great. And you're still that passionate about it. That's great.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Right on.
Okay, so how can we see some of your art?
You can go to my website. It has all those paintings have already sold, but it shows what my work looks like. Right. So figurative and people interacting, coffee shops and stuff. So that's www.tcarrerafineart.com. Or you can just Google me and it'll take you to my page.
Or T for Tracy.
And then Carrera, Carrera, like the Porsche. Porsche Carrera. There's my car. It has my name on it. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I know it's a long way to come up here from Reedley, but I hope you come again.
Oh, thank you. I just lived down the street, so it was no problem at all. And I will come again. I definitely will, because this is way too fun. Talking about art with artists. Hey,
awesome. What can we do?
Carol, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Do come again.
Oh, I will. As long as you'll be here.
Okay.
All right. You'll let me paint you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back.